Recent statistics show 77% of adults over the age of 50 prefer to age in place.
Now, you know, today, we're going to be diving deep into the heart of caregiving, where compassion meets dedication. Comfort Keepers help seniors thrive while living independently at home.
Absolutely. So here with more are Sherry Snelling, a gerontologist and author, and Brian Huber, who understands what it means to care for elderly parents.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning. This is an important topic.
It really is. And I think, Sherry, this is something that everybody can relate to. Caring for someone you love, it could be very fulfilling, but a lot of us don't then think about the emotional and the physical toll it can take, especially on what I've heard is called the sandwich generation. Our parents we're taking care of and our children at the same time.
Yeah, and there are so many people that are in that situation with two generations that they're caring for. I think one of the things that we see in caregiving, we focus on the physical tasks and we forget that the emotional side of caregiving is so important. And that's making sure that our loved one still has a joyful life, still creating quality of life and quality moments. And the sandwich generation is interesting, but if we have children we can bring together with older grandparents, one of the things that we see is that the grandparents actually feel more relevant when they're sharing wisdom with the younger generation, and the younger generation of grandkids actually feels more resilient. And this is a really beneficial thing that we see in caregiving.
Right, for you, I mean, this hits close to home, correct?
Yeah, I'm living in the sandwich right now, absolutely. So my mom was the sole caregiver for my dad, who had a terminal illness, and when he passed, you know, she wanted to stay at home, but you know, it did take a huge toll on her, right? She was, you know, mentally exhausted. There were just a lot of things going on, but you know, I wanted to say, yeah, let's see what it's going to take to keep you at home. And so I relied on family and friends to get her, you know, from point A to point B. She probably shouldn't have been driving. You know, we had to go through that conversation. So, you know, I got to the point where I was like, I need some help here. What can I do? How can I get somebody in there to help? And that's where Comfort Keepers came in.
And I read here that you went from home care to assisted living, which is a tough decision to make.
Yeah, absolutely. So for my mom, you know, we kept her in home as long as we could, right? So the caregiver would come, you know, 4 or 5 days a week, help her with groceries and going to doctor's appointments and things that she couldn't do. But she did have some memory issues. So we did have to eventually move her into assisted living. But the amazing thing is that Comfort Keepers was able to go into that situation and then, you know, just being able to take care of her, you know, on that one-to-one basis.
Yeah, and Sherry, tell us a little about Comfort Keepers. What does it do?
Well, Comfort Keepers has been around for more than 25 years, and it's really focused on providing services in the home to help, again, our older parents stay living as independently as possible. And it really helps with care transitions. So if your loved one is being discharged from hospital, a Comfort Keepers professional can come in and help you create a care plan and really make sure that the home environment is properly supporting your loved one. But the other side of it is the emotional side. And again, we forget about the emotional, the psychological, the mental health part of caregiving. And I think that's where Comfort Keepers really helps two lives, because they can help the older loved one, but they also help the caregiver. So again, if you have that care team and that professional from Comfort Keepers, then you can take a breath and you can go do something for yourself and know that your loved one is still being cared for.
I was reading here, Sherry, that Comfort Keepers, their whole approach is elevating the human spirit. Brian, did you see that?
Well, you know, one of the things that I was very worried about not being there day to day was, you know, was she going to be lonely? Is she kind of isolated? Yeah, she had friends that could come over. But to me, it's like, I need someone there that's like, she's engaging with and, you know, bringing bringing a little bit of joy into the house every day, having a conversation, talking about things.
And that's really a component of Comfort Keepers, right? It's bringing in that daily dose of joy.
Yeah, you know what, when we talk about joy, I always tell people we don't have a lot of control over some things in our life, but we have control over the amount of happiness and joy that we can create. Maybe it's listening to music with your loved one from their era. Any of these moments of joy are going to help both our older loved one, but also help ourselves. And being able to give and have those moments that you're going to create long past, you know, your loved one not being with us, you still have these wonderful memories. So joy really becomes essential, and it's not just the professional care, but it's also finding those joyful moments in life.
I want to ask you both, are there any best practices you both can share for our viewers who may be going through this right now? Sherry, I'll start with you.
Sure. I think there's 3 things that I always tell family carers to think about. First of all, we're wanting to keep our loved ones at home. That's environmental wellness. So we have to think about our homes as a healing space. Second thing is, Humans are social animals. We need to hug, we need to touch. It creates that oxytocin release, which bonds us. And then I think third, and probably most importantly, is the emotional side, creating the moments of joy.
I love that. Brian?
Yeah, and I would just add that, taking the first step of reaching out and figuring out how to get care is huge, right? You go into your parents' house, and it may be your mom that's still there, or your dad, or both of them, and they need help, but they're not going to ask you for it. So you kind of have to realize what's going on, what do they actually need, and then reaching out to someone like Comfort Keepers, they can really come in and help create that plan of care.
That's fantastic.
Thank you so much for both of you for being here, okay?
It's wonderful.
So appreciate it. Thank you for your
And of
story.
course, you can go to comfortkeepers.com, check out their social media channels if you want to get more information.
That's right. Comfort Keepers. I love the name. You can always head to our website, thebalancingact.com, for more information. We'll be right back.